Hello, hope you're having a great day. Now today's been the second day in a row that I've managed to resist the urge to stay in bed after having a week or so where I utterly failed to get out of bed. So yeah, that's really cool. I managed to get up today. I did end up sitting on the foot end of the bed for a few minutes, and then at one point I even laid down on the foot end of the bed, which is, potentially dangerous, but managed to snap out of that at about 25 to 8, I think it was. My alarm was actually set really low in terms of volume, which again could have been potentially dangerous, but luckily my beautiful girlfriend Kat heard it and woke me up. So I need to make sure that I have the volume up before I go to bed. But managed to get up, as I say, start getting going at about 25 to 8. I was actually out on my walk by about 10 to 8, I think it was, 5 to 8, and then back from my walk at 25 past 8, although I did get my car out the garage, so that's why my walk was a bit longer than usual. And wrote in my journal as usual, just had a meditation as usual, which didn't go the best. My mind was definitely filled with, thoughts about just planning my day, really. I'm sitting there trying to focus on the meditation and my mind's already thinking about, the busy day that I'm planning to have. So that wasn't ideal, but it's the way it is. I accept and acknowledge that even if the meditations don't go the best, it's still worth doing it every day. Just the act of doing it every day really benefits me. But it's now 8:45 and I want to keep the momentum going. I want to get through the rest of my morning routine and then crack on with some work. So today, in terms of my workout plan, I'm on abs. So I'm just going to do some sit-ups on the floor. I'm really going to focus on squeezing my abs to lift me up. I've still got a little bit of this neck injury left. And I don't want to make it any worse. As I say, I'm really going to focus on squeezing my abs rather than having the urge to sort of throw my neck into it, when I get to the higher reps. I normally like to do 25 reps in a set of sit-ups. And I think that's the problem. You get to, say, 18 reps, and because I know that I normally do 25, that's when the form starts slacking and you just do whatever you need to reach that 25 reps, which is the wrong way to go about it. What I should be doing is, squeezing my core and just doing as many sit-ups until I reach failure. If I get to failure at 15 reps because I've been focusing on squeezing my core, then so be it. But a lot of this working out and stuff requires you to take your ego out of things, and it's hard. But because I've got this injury, I really do need to focus on not throwing my neck into my sit-ups. So, going to do sit-ups. Then I'll do the Russian twists holding my light dumbbells. And then I'll do the 30 seconds of laying on the floor, lifting my legs slightly off the ground. I'll use Alexa to count me down. That'll be the 3 exercises, 2 sets of each as usual. And then I want to dive in my cold shower, and then I can have my healthy breakfast. One thing worth noting, I actually started watching last night in the gym, and I forgot to mention it in yesterday's video, podcast where Tristan Tate is on with Rob Moore, and Rob Moore actually just did a multi-part, I think it was 2-part podcast with Andrew Tate, now he's put a podcast up with Tristan Tate. I think it's interesting how different Andrew and Tristan are from each other, as well as, both being the same in many regards, both ex-kickboxers, both very rich, both, they even live together, both going through, negative things in terms of a legal case, which I think is a load of nonsense personally. But Tristan's definitely more sophisticated. He comes across more sophisticated. He's well into his history and all that, and just a really interesting bloke to listen to, and very motivational and inspirational as well. So I think I'm going to continue listening to that podcast whilst I'm banging out my ab session. And as I say, after that it was time for me to jump in my cold shower like I do every day. Alexa, give me 30-second countdown.
30 seconds, starting now. 30 seconds, starting now.
Alexa, stop.
Alright, so today has been another really busy and productive one. I'm actually talking to you now on the way to boxing. It's about 20 to 7 and boxing is at 7. But yeah, earlier on, a friend of mine came round to my house to drop off some parts that he needs me to take to a company to restore for him. And yeah, with us both being petrol heads, we were talking outside my house about cars for about an hour. But yeah, that's the way it goes. And then once my friend had gone, I dived into finishing what I started yesterday with the car parts in my garden and in my shed. And then I needed to get myself over to my other garage to take care of another couple of jobs, which was to wrap up the video that I'm working on currently on the other channel. And at that moment, because it was late, you know, my mind was trying to persuade me not to go over to the other garage, you know, trying to rationalise me bringing the video out a day later, or just not doing those couple of jobs that I'd planned to do in that video, right? So, you know, it's another example of, you know, my mind always making excuses for me to take the easy option, to break promises to myself. You know, I'd already decided that those couple of jobs over at my other garage was going to be included in this video, but my mind was trying to persuade me that, you know, it didn't matter if they were put in the next video, for instance. And look, don't get me wrong, it is a long way to go over to my other garage just to take care of a couple of jobs, right? So this is the logic that my mind uses to persuade me to ultimately do less. You know, I've got thoughts going through my mind, you know, it's not worth going all the way over there, like wasting all that petrol, wasting all that time just to take care of this couple of jobs. But the reality is that my garage is far away, and I have to basically swallow the fact that sometimes I do need to go over there, you know, and waste fuel and, you know, go all the way over there only for a couple of hours. You know, I have to swallow the fact that I do need to do that at the moment because my garage is so far away. You know, that's just part of my life at the moment. You know, it's not my mind trying to make me think more logically, it's just my mind using logic to make me do less work, essentially. And yeah, I basically, you know, snapped out of that, went over to the other garage, took care of those jobs, and then yeah, just about got home at like 6:30, and I still needed to upload yesterday's video on this channel, and that's uploaded now, and I've just set it to go public as soon as it's uploaded. Haven't even done a thumbnail for it, but that's fine. You know, I didn't want to miss boxing, and you know, even in that moment, I've got thoughts going through my head of, you know, would it be that bad to not go boxing tonight? And it's like, no, the most important thing in my life is my health and fitness, and that involves me going to boxing, you know. So yeah, I'm on the way to boxing now, and yeah, looking forward to it, you know. I'm gonna go hard as usual. Not sure which coach we're gonna have, not sure if I'm gonna get asked if I want to do any head sparring, but we'll just wait and see. Haven't done head sparring for weeks now because obviously I was ill and I had my neck injury, so I didn't really go boxing. But yeah, I'm always up for it if I'm asked, you know. Can't turn it down, you know, because then I'll get into the habit of turning it down. I don't want that. No, I want to progress with my boxing. But yeah, it's going to be a killer as usual, and I'll chat to you after boxing. If I survive, that is.
Alright, so got back from boxing, already had a shower, and I'm just about to have my dinner, but boxing was awesome, as usual. Really pushed myself, and I can feel myself getting fitter and fitter with every session, you know. It's always a killer, like, at the end of whatever round of exercises that we're doing, it always feels like I'm going to die, like, but I've noticed that, you know, I'm catching my breath quicker. You know, it's taking me less time to catch my breath. One thing I have been trying recently as well, and it's not even something that I've sort of heard about on the internet, I just must have randomly tried it like a couple of sessions ago. It's like when I'm really knackered and, you know, he sort of says, you know, you got a minute to have a drink, and I'm there like proper dying. Like, I sort of try and go into a meditative state where I'm just like focusing on my inner self, but not focusing on the fact that I'm knackered, not focusing on my heavy breathing sort of thing. It's really hard to explain, but kind of going to the same state I do when I'm meditating. Although when you're meditating, you're focusing on your breath. So it's kind of like focusing beyond, you know, deeper than that. Like sort of focusing on the inner body, but not the breath. Whereas when you're meditating, like sitting at home, you know, in the mornings when I meditate, I'm focusing on my inner body as well as my breath. And yeah, it's not as if like you don't feel knackered anymore. Like it's sort of takes your focus away from you gasping for air, right? Your body will do the gasping for you, like, breathing heavy to replenish your oxygen, right? Your oxygen debt. But yeah, it's just a way of like taking yourself away from the sort of distress that, you're causing yourself by focusing on the fact that you're knackered. Like, I hope that makes sense. It's really hard to explain, but yeah, I sort of, go into the corner, whatever, we're having a drink, and I'm, really panting, really like struggling for breath, and just sort of stand there with my chest out, and, so that my body can get as much oxygen as possible, but then sort of zone out for a couple of seconds, and then sort of, come back in the room. Like, I know it's really weird, really hard for me to explain, but yeah, it seems to help. Like, it seems to help. But yeah, in general, I can just feel myself getting fitter and fitter, and it's awesome, like 38-year-old bloke, like recovering drug addict. I've lived decades as a waste man, and, in a matter of like, I don't even think I've been doing boxing for a year, but yeah, it's just so good for making you fitter. It works your whole body. My legs were absolutely battered, like, because I do legs in the gym on a Monday and then go boxing on a Tuesday. It's always the case, like, he gets us to do so many like squat jumps and all these mad like leg exercises, because in boxing you need to build up your legs, right? Because you're always in that stance, you're always on your toes, aren't you? So having sort of fitness and durability in your legs is like key for boxing. Boxing just works your whole body. But yeah, it's awesome. At the end of the session, like, the coach is calling me a soldier, like, and obviously I joke it off, and I'm like, I don't know about that, mate. You know what I mean? So he's noticing that I'm giving it my all. I'm noticing that I'm, getting fitter, and I'm acknowledging that I'm giving it my all. I'm coming out of there feeling proud of myself. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. Like, coming from a life where I used to seek external chemical pleasure, like, the high I get from living this life and being proud of myself is just a million times better than any drug, and I'm loving it. One thing that was really interesting in the session we did today, we're doing body sparring, obviously, and he was sort of rotating us round between, some of us doing body sparring in the ring and some of us doing body sparring on the floor, and he basically divided the ring into 4. So he's got these like extra ropes that he puts across. So there was like 4 pairs in the ring at one stage, right? So you're forced to sort of, stay close to each other. You can't sort of like dance around and avoid each other. And for one of those rounds, I was paired up with Tom, who I've mentioned before on this channel. Like, he's must be 6'6" tall. He's massive, like, packs a punch, and he's getting really good at the technical stuff. So when we're body sparring, when we've got room to move around, he just keeps me away. And then when he comes in with his shots, it's just like, his punches are probably half a dozen times more powerful than mine. So, a lot of the time you're sort of cannon fodder, and yeah, you need to get on the inside of him to get shots off. So you have to sort of, just dive straight into like the front line, if you will, and to get shots off. But where we was in the ring, where it was divided into 4 and we were forced to be close together, it kind of aided me. Like, it meant that we were close together. It was harder for him. Now, it did mean that I was just in close all the time. So when he did get a few shots off, like, you're just close to him and you're just taking them. Like, so, again, like cannon fodder. But yeah, it was interesting to sort of explore being close to someone who's bigger than you and has got a bigger reach than you. Yeah, to sort of prove that the fact that when you are the guy with the shorter reach, you do need to sort of grit your teeth and get in close. But yeah, it was awesome. Like, I really like body sparring with Tom. He gives it, like, he can take it as well. And yeah, as I say, he's like getting really technically good. So yeah, it's all good. But yeah, the session in general was a killer. It was awesome. So glad that I went. And yeah, I'm absolutely annihilated now, like physically, but mentally, feeling proud of myself, feeling glad that I went to boxing. One thing worth noting is my beautiful girlfriend Kat is doing her night shift this week. So, those of you that have been watching the channel a while will know that, even in the days where I wasn't sniffing cocaine every day, for instance, even in the days where I was, being good as I thought, or, kidding myself, thinking I was doing well, no matter how much I promised myself, whenever she did night shift, I would always, get on the gear and go and be a degenerate and walk the streets. And, a lot of the time I'd only just about get back in time for her to roll in after a night shift, So, even in the sort of better times of me being in active addiction, like, whenever she did night shift, that was the time where I'd always let myself down behind her back. And yeah, nowadays it's not an issue. I used to sort of a few days before she was doing a night shift, she would just so happen to mention she's doing nights or whatever, and straight away my brain would be like making a plan of, you know, where we're going to get gear and what we're going to do and whatnot. And, you know, I don't get that now. Like I'm beyond that now, because I'm living this clean and healthy life, because I'm focusing every day on my health and fitness. You know, I get to reap the rewards of not, you know, living that dark life. But I do acknowledge and understand how easy it would be for me to slip back. And that's why every month when she is on night shift, I will remind myself, I will bang on about it to myself and you guys that watch these videos. You know, it's not me taking myself back to times gone past. No, it's me acknowledging that, you know, those dark times are only, you know, a couple of steps away, you know, a couple of steps backwards away. And yeah, you know, the way I look at life now, the way I look at how my life was back then, the way I look at what's going on in my mind, and the way I approach things, and the way I do acknowledge and remind myself of how bad things were and how bad things could be if I slip, you know, all that is working. So I will continue to do that. But yeah, I'm just grateful that I am living this clean life and I'm not getting sucked into those dark behaviours when Kat is doing a night shift, you know. And you know what? The more I continue to focus on my health and fitness every day and, you know, analyse what's going on in my mind and, you know, put the time in to put these videos out to, you know, the very few people that watch them, you know, the more I keep doing that, the more I will deserve for my life to get better and better, for my health to get better and better, physically, mentally, spiritually. You know, there was a time where I genuinely believed that I didn't deserve a happy life at all, you know, and it's kind of weird that I kind of forgot that I used to think like that. That's how far I've come, which is good. But then, you know, I sort of today reminded myself that I'd forgot that that's how I used to feel. So, yeah, you know, the dark times I feel like are behind me, but they're always only going to be a couple of steps behind me, waiting for me to slip up. And that's why I need to keep pushing forward and not slip up. Anyway, right now I need to have my dinner that my beautiful girlfriend made for me before she went and done her night shift. All right, we are having some sort of chicken and rice meal. I'm guessing this is like fajita flavour. But yeah, got some spinach in there, some peppers, got peas in with the rice. And this is a pretty heavy portion. Gonna have a protein yogurt afterwards, of course. Gonna wash it down with my smoothie that I have every day, of course. Plenty of much needed fuel. All right, it's coming up to 12:30 and I've been burning the midnight oil yet again, but I've had my head in my MacBook doing loads of editing for the next video on the car channel, and I've got myself to a position now where if I work hard all day tomorrow, I can release that video tomorrow, and I really must release the video tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, or today's Wednesday because it's already gone midnight, and I think the last video went out last Friday, so yeah, I do really want to put that video out tomorrow, but it is going to take a load of work tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to keep this outro short and just go and get myself ready for bed. But you know, it's been another day where I can be proud of myself. My conscience is clear. I've worked hard all day, and yeah, it's another one of Kat's night shifts that I've managed to stay clean for. So that's the end of this video. I will be back for another one tomorrow for you guys that want to follow me on my day. I hope this video has been somewhat helpful or motivational. As always, feel free to say hello in the comments or get in touch through Facebook, Instagram or email. But other than that, I'll chat to you tomorrow.